I'm Natalia, and I'm the voice behind the synchronization exercise that you guys all know if you're following this channel. And I know that many of you love this exercise, so I wanted to personally thank you for all your kind words and comments, for voting for the next episodes, and for your hard work. I am truly happy to know that someone is using this exercise to improve their listening skills, because it is a fantastic exercise, and I myself used it to improve my German skills, and then I designed it to help advanced language learners and English learners specifically improve their listening skills. I'm 100% positive that this exercise will work with every European language. I don't really know about Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and that group of languages, but I'm positive it will work with every other European language. So, I thought it's about time for me to introduce myself to you guys, because on the one hand, I actually want to help you do this exercise more effectively, and I want to give you some practical tips. On the other hand, I actually want to call you out on something, and I hope you're ready. I want to call you out on the 3 things that some of you, I'm not saying all of you, but some of you might be doing incorrectly. The more episodes I release, the more I see that people do this exercise incorrectly. And when you practice something incorrectly, consistently, over and over again, unfortunately, you strengthen your incorrect patterns. The very patterns that you actually want to get rid of. So let's get started. And I'm going to tell you the 3 things that you might start doing differently. And you know what? Before we even get to the potential mistakes you might be making while doing this exercise, I think it makes a lot of sense to talk about the synchronization exercise in general. We have a video tutorial that explains how to do this exercise correctly, and I hope you guys watched it. However, I think it makes sense for me to explain in more detail how the exercise works and what it is for. To make it simple for you guys, I'm going to outline the problem that the exercise solves in just 1 sentence. And the problem goes, English learners struggle hearing the words that they know. It's not like you can't hear the words you don't know. It's the words that you know, because when you see them, you know them. When you see them, you know what they mean, but you can't hear them. And this is the most frustrating part. So the synchronization exercise helps you solve that problem. It helps you hear the words that you actually know, but you can't hear them. To be able to understand everything that native speakers say, you need to make sure that you can hear 100% of what they say. So what is 100%? I want you to start thinking about every English word as a right-angled triangle. So imagine a right-angled triangle. And now let's imagine that every side of the triangle represents something. This side of the triangle represents meaning, what the word means. This side of the triangle represents sound, what the word sounds like, how we hear it. And this side of the triangle represents image, meaning how we see the word, how we spell the word. Now, when people learn English or any other foreign language, they usually spend a lot of time reading and writing. They read a lot of emails, they respond to a lot of emails, they read a lot of books, they read the subtitles. They spend a lot of their time reading and writing, which means they see the word, and they know what the word means. They see the word and they know what the word means. And when they know what word they want to use, they know how to write the word, because they write a lot of emails. Usually people need English for work, or, they text. But this side of the triangle is rarely participating in the process, meaning people are usually, well, I don't want to say usually, but in my experience, people are completely oblivious to the fact that the word they're looking at might sound very, very differently from how they imagine it sounds. Even if you're not listening to the word, even if all you do is read and write, there is still a voice playing in your head that reads this word to you. And most likely, it's reading it to you incorrectly. So you're hearing your version of this word in your head, but not the actual version of the word. So chances are high you're hearing the incorrect version of the word. And it's very different from how the word actually sounds. When I show people this word, you're going to see it somewhere on the screen, I hear all possible versions of this word. People will say gosh, gauge, gauge, whatever, but not gauge, which is the correct pronunciation of the word. They know the word. They've seen it many times in their business emails, and yet they probably never looked the word up in the dictionary because they never needed to. Very simple. And that's why we have this problem. A lot of people, when they watch movies in English, they cannot do both. They either read the subtitles or they watch a movie. And this internal conflict is ongoing, meaning like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I can't focus on the movie. I can't focus on the motion picture because I find myself reading the subtitles. Or when they start actively looking at the subtitles and checking every word and reading every word on the screen, they find themselves lost, meaning they can't focus on the movie and they have to go back and watch it again because they missed what actually happened. If this is also true for you, meaning you can either watch a movie or read the subtitles, the synchronization exercise is actually a very, very good exercise for you. Every time you hear me say, make sure you're synchronizing the words that you're seeing and the words that you're hearing, I want you to really, really understand what I mean. We need to make sure that we are looking at the word as a structure that has sound, image, and meaning. And we need to really synchronize all three sides of the triangle. We need to make sure that they become one. When you see a word and you immediately know how to spell it, you know how to write it down, and you also know what the word means, that means you understand it 100%. Because every time people give me these answers, for example, you know, when I watch English movies, I understand maybe 50% of what people tell me, or 60%, or 70%, or 95%, or 88%. All these calculations are incorrect. All these numbers are random numbers and they have nothing to do with reality. People make assumptions because they don't really know how to understand feedback from reality. When you're interacting with a TV screen, it can't really give you feedback on how well you're understanding what's going on. So people have to come up with some numbers and make some assumptions to make some estimations about how their listening skills are improving, if they're improving at all, but these numbers are incorrect. You only know what 60% is when you know what 100% is. And now that you know that 100% is when you see the word, you know how the word sounds, and you know what the word means. This is 100%. Now you can look at all the words in the episode that you're working with. You can count all the words in the episode, and it's possible to do so because the episodes are short. And you can see how many of these words you actually understand fully and completely. How many of them can you see? How many of them can you hear? And how many of them do you understand? Meaning you understand what they mean.
I need you to focus and hold out your hand. I need you to focus and hold out your hand.
A lot of times people will understand all the words that they see when they're written down, but when somebody says the same very words, when I say somebody, I mean a native speaker, especially a native speaker who speaks with an accent that people are not used to hearing, then they suddenly realize they don't understand anything. Because in English we have connected speech. A lot of words are reduced because they're not important. We have melodic patterns, we have stress. The synchronization exercise will teach you to understand the rhythm of English. And it will teach you to hear and understand 100% of what you're looking at and what you're hearing. And most importantly, you will know what 100% is and what it sounds like. I hope by now you understand a little bit more about the synchronization exercise. If you still have questions, if you're still not sure what this exercise can do and why we're supposed to do it and what it does for you, leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Now, you ready? We're going to talk about the mistakes and about the things that you guys can do better. Mistake number 1. People are simply sitting there and waiting for the correct answers to appear on the screen. They're not really doing the exercise. They're just waiting for the correct captions to appear on the screen so that they don't have to do the work. This is not the right process. They think they're doing the exercise and they think they're putting in effort, and then they get upset that they don't get results. Every step of the exercise matters. The correct answers appear at step 3 at least. The first step is always the same. We watch a movie scene without the subtitles, and I ask you to give yourself feedback on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you think you understand? And that's okay if at this stage you trust your gut feeling. I think I understand 30%. I think I understand 70%. That's okay at this step, because at the end of the exercise, you're supposed to check if your gut feeling was correct. So I want you to be very, very active from the start. You start the exercise and you are actively listening And you're not just sitting there and waiting, okay, what did they say? Is she gonna show me? Am I gonna see it? That's not the right way to do the exercise. And that's okay if you understand only 20%, or if you understand nothing, at least you're honest. Okay, I didn't understand anything they said in the beginning, so I better focus and listen and pay attention when I see the things that they actually said in the beginning. And I played a few times to actually understand how they said it. And you know why people make this mistake? It's a pattern, I would say, a pattern that people develop as they learn. And the pattern is, if I don't know the answers, the teacher will tell me. The answers are always at the end of the book. So all I need to do is just wait for the teacher to allow me to open the last page of the book and see the answers. Or I'm just gonna sit here and wait for the class to end, because at the end of the class, the teacher usually gives us the correct answers. Or if I don't know, the teacher knows. So she or he is gonna give me the correct answers. And this is the pattern. And if you're doing this exercise, it means you're a little bit more advanced. And it means that you have probably tried private classes, group classes, YouTube lessons, and nothing really helped. If you're still here, improving your listening skills and working on your ability to understand every accent, everyone, regardless of how fast they speak, how well they speak, how educated or not educated they are, you're here because you want to understand people. There are no textbooks on people. There are a lot of textbooks on rules. There are no textbooks on people. So do not simply sit there and wait for the answers to appear on the screen, because the most important work that you are doing as you are working on this exercise is you're learning to give feedback to yourself. You're learning to be honest with yourself. How much can I hear? What words am I just aren't able to hear or understand? And then as you see them on the screen, spend a little bit more time trying to understand how they said it. Because another pattern is that a lot of language learners focus on the what and never on the how. And here's what I mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably what's going on, because I see this happening all the time. People listen to what was said and they understand what was said. They fail to pay attention to how it was said, and that's why they are not able to repeat what was said. If they're asked to repeat what was said, they repeat it using the words that they know. They repeat it using their version of English, and they're not improving. This exercise is supposed to teach you to listen to not only what was said, but how it was said. And you can practice this skill if you're patient enough to do every step of the exercise. So listen carefully to the instructions and do every step of the exercise. Do not sit there and wait. Waiting is not the purpose of the exercise. That's not our focus. Your focus should be synchronizing. Okay, I hear the word, I can't see it. Now, I see the word as soon as it appears on the screen, but I can't hear it. And I don't know what it means. If you don't know what it means, it's actually easy. You just go and look it up in the dictionary. But if you see it and you can't hear it, it means you need to listen again and again and again until you actually hear it. You know the difference between I hear the word because I really, really hear it, and I know what they're saying because I see the word. Make sure you see the difference, because a lot of people think they hear it simply because they see the subtitles. But you give them the same movie without the subtitles and they're lost. That's why the last step of the exercise is to watch the same movie scene without the subtitles. So you can give yourself feedback. Am I really hearing it? Do I really understand what's going on? And how much better has it become? How much better? Not just better, but how much better? 1% better, 10% better, 5% better, 50% better. So that's mistake number 1, not doing the work. Mistake number 2 is not doing the exercise again. Do not assume that doing it once will do it. As of now, I have released 25 episodes. Try to remember, when did you do the first episode? When was it? How about you find the episode that you did first when you found this channel, and how about you do it again and see how much has changed? Because most likely, you're going to be surprised. Either you're going to hear every single word, which means you did amazing work, congratulations, or you're going to find out that even though you did this exercise a month ago or 2 months ago, you're still struggling. I'm not saying that you should do the same exercise again and again a few days in a row, but I'm saying that it makes a lot of sense to come back to the exercises that you already did. Do not assume that doing something one time is going to fix the problem. All of these exercises are worth repeating. When you repeat the same exercise, you improve by 15%, and then 15% more, and then 15% more, until you're really, really confident that you can hear every single word that was said and you don't need the subtitles. And this leads me to one more thing. You know, if you go to the gym once a month, you know that nothing will change, right? You know that you need to go to the gym consistently, at least 3 times a week, right? To see results. So if you do this exercise once a month, nothing's really going to change. My tip is this: try to do this exercise as a routine. Meaning, day 1, you do the main episode. Day 2, you do the practice line by line episode. Day 3, you pick another episode and you do the main video again. Day 4, you do the practice line by line episode. So that means you're going to work with the same episode for 2 days. And then you change the episode and you start working on a new one, which means you'll need about 6 days to do 3 exercises. Start a 2-3 week practice routine for yourself. I'm a big advocate for practice routines, because when you do the same work consistently, you start understanding so much more and your attention starts working better. Because by the end of 2 or 3 weeks, trust me, you're going to understand so much more about this exercise, and you're actually going to understand what it is that you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to listen. This exercise will teach you to listen differently, because I really want you to get it. What does it mean to listen to the how and not only to the what? Because when you listen to the what, you're automatically translating. And when you're automatically translating, you run on autopilot. And that's the whole point of the training, to get you out of autopilot mode so you can start thinking, sounding, and speaking differently. So mistake number 3 is that people do not use the practice line by line video. They think it's useless. Or another extreme, I know people who only use the practice line by line video. That's also not correct, because you need step 1, where you first watch the video without the subtitles and you're supposed to give yourself feedback. Why is the second video so important? Because there will be moments and words that you're not sure about. The practice line by line videos can help you focus on the vowels and the sounds that you need to practice. You need to practice hearing them better. If you want to make your practice really effective, then do this. Don't just sit there and watch the practice line by line video. Actually, the way it is designed is, you know, if I say this on YouTube, every episode is going to take a lot longer and people are not going to like it that much because it's a lot more work. But if you're someone who is ready for more work, because you are determined to improve your listening skills, you don't want to get stuck or be in the stuckness for another year or another 5 years. You actually want to hear yourself speak better and differently in a year from now. Then try this. Instead of just watching the practice line by line video, repeat every line out loud, both when it's said at a normal pace and when it's said at a reduced pace. Repeat every line out loud, because this is how you're going to be able to give more objective feedback to yourself. Can you repeat it as fast as they say it? Can you repeat it with the same intonation? Usually people can't repeat it as fast as people say it in the video. They struggle connecting the words correctly, and they struggle reducing all the words that must be reduced. Say everything out loud and you'll find so many things that will surprise you. And I want to give you one more tip. Here's one more thing you can do if you're really determined to improve your listening skills and your speaking skills. Instead of watching the first part of the exercise and trying to understand if you get it, if you can hear every word or some of the words, try to write everything down. Because when you're doing this work in your head, you're playing the guessing game. If you want to actually get the exact number, the correct number, which is going to tell you how much you actually hear and understand, then grab a pen. Don't type. You need to write. Play the video and press play and pause every 3 seconds and write down everything you hear, exactly the words that you can hear, even if you hear gibberish. Then press play, listen to the next 3 seconds, press pause, and write down what you heard again. You can do this twice. You can watch the first part of the exercise twice, because the second time you're going to watch it, you're going to check your own writing, and maybe you will be able to fill in the blanks and write down some of the words that you missed when you watched it for the first time. This will give you a very, very clear picture of how many words you actually heard, because the number of all the words in the scene is going to be your 100%. And then you can count how many words you were able to write down and how many words are missing. You're going to know exactly how much you're able to hear. Well, that's it. This is what I wanted to share with you, and it's getting late here. I hope you can still see me because it's getting dark. And I hope the quality of the video is still okay. Again, I wanted to personally thank you for doing this exercise, and I wanted to encourage you to practice correctly. Be proactive with your practice. If you really understand how the synchronization exercise works, you don't have to wait for the next episode to practice. Do this exercise with any video, with any movie, with any podcast episode that you like. And if you want more of this exercise, join my community of practice in my resource library, because I have 200 more episodes that you will love, because we have all sorts of accents. Together with the community members, we work on understanding different accents, because I want to be able to understand everybody. It doesn't matter if they're from Wales, Australia, New Zealand, London, New York, Massachusetts, doesn't really matter. Zimbabwe, South Africa. My job is to learn to understand everybody. You need to work with a lot of different content. You need to get to hear different accents, and you need to get used to the fact that people may pronounce the same words that you know very differently, and they pronounce the words that you think you know very differently from how you would say them. So if you want to do more work, and if you like the exercise, consider joining my community, because we have a lot more going on there. And please share the episodes with the people you love, with someone who needs it, and vote for the next episode in my Telegram channel. I look forward to seeing you there and here on YouTube. And let's practice more because I want you to have more faith in yourself. It's absolutely possible to sound the way you want to sound, and to sound like you in another language, and to be able to understand everyone effortlessly. Trust me, it's a life-changing skill. When you start hearing and understanding every single word, it's a life-changing skill. And I want you to experience that.